Hello, everyone. Welcome back to more of the Gostak session. Well, session 2 here for me. I recorded the first 3 episodes yesterday, so I'm gonna have a little bit of reacclimating to do to all of the dirching and so on. But I think I basically remember stuff, and I have my little database of all the things I should know. And I remember a few things also that I thought of in between sessions. In particular, I don't think I ever talked to this. Excuse me. I don't think I ever doched at this droke about drokes, or Gostaks. Can you tell me about that? Most of the other drokes are doching at the Comics because of the Toffage. So I know that, in the area we started at, which was at which direction from us again? Jyloff. The Delcot, where we started, is Jyloff of here. And there was a Toffage. Oops, Jyloff. Yeah, there's a Toft Kerpel, right? So this is an unusual state of affairs. The Kerpel probably shouldn't be Toft because it usually isn't, I guess, and the fact that it has means most of the drokes are over there doching at the Comics, right? You wouldn't get most of anybody doching about something unless it was unusual. And he mentioned Toffing to me as well when I asked about something else. I don't remember exactly what. But the other thing I wanted to doche at him about is me. What do you know about Gostaks, buddy? You're the Gostak. You just stim the dashes. Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Well, can you tell me anything about distimming? That's what you do to the dashes. Okay, great. Yeah, that's what you distim. You distim the dashes, but they're in the dashery to laugh at the Delcot. So you can't distim them while there are glods krend there. Yes, this is all, I know all this. But thank you for reminding me and agreeing that it's a good thing to do. I guess I can hide the dictionary while we, how do I do that? There we go. So those are the main things I remembered to doge at him about. But there was also one other thing. The Jyloff with me. I wanted to look again at to tunk again at all of the glods, because there was one, the Pilters one. That's the word I wanted to remember. Right. Because I talked to him about it before. I doched at him, and he said something that seemed notable, and it was an action I could take on Voltive things, but I don't remember what it was. It was like Zarf or something, right? Not quite, but Voltive Claude. That was just Voltive can be zanked, that's right, among other things. So I guess we can put this in the dictionary in the following way. So, am I allowed to just say, insert into definition, well, no, I guess I have to, this is fine, null. So, anybody can zank a Pilters thing. Not definition, thank you. So this isn't exactly what Pilters, I kind of intended nouns to go here. This is a Pilters thing, but I guess that's fine. So I guess we can also say that the Gostak can zank pultive things, in case I need to look up at some point what I am able to zank, or all the actions I could possibly take. One of them is zanking, but only pultive things, among other things. So let's head back to the Jyloff over there, to the Delcot, and let's try zank the pultive glod. You zank it dirly. It smibs into the Brangy. It's gone! I got rid of a glod. Okay. Good. And we think dirly means, like, in an exemplary manner. Use it perfectly. Nah, something like that. The one use case I've seen that was completely clear to me was, like, for example, they used the word dirly where you should have used for example. And so I'm kind of extending that to exemplary. It smibs into the brandy. So smib is like falling. I mean, it's gone. And I think brangy is like water. I'm just going to start writing this stuff in. So let me just make sure I don't already have any of these. And gitch. I don't have any of these. So I'm just going to say, you know what? Brangy is water and get your fish. I don't know that that's true, but it fits with everything I've learned so far. And even if it's not like... presumably it's not actually... Oh, it's not actually water. But it's something that, as far as... in all the ways I've experienced it so far, behaves like water. And so it'll be at least a useful metaphor for me to think about the alien things happening in this world. So, first of all, to smib is to fall. Brangy is water, and a gitch is a fish, and to frike is to swim, because that's what gitches do in the Brangy. So can I tund or tunk? Tund is put, tunk is examine. Can I tunk the Brangy? There's nothing interesting about it. But the gitches... Maybe frike is jump, actually. Like, the Hogum is a dam? Not a dam, I'm like a moat, kind of? Okay. Sorry, I guess you could watch this. Set English to jump, where Gostak is frike. All right. So, 5 of the glods I've got figured out. They seem like pretty low-hanging fruit. The first one, you just had to, like, pick it up, because it was just such a tiny little glod. What is my war? This is like the kind of thing that these guys were yeah, the gitches were zanking them. Yes, it says right here. So this is like this is fish food or something, maybe. I don't know what a darf is at all. So what if I tried to zank, like, my warb? Ah! It smibs into the Brangy. Hey, I want that back. Maybe the warb was pultive after all, and I just didn't know. I remember what happened before is I just kind of hung around here and looked at the fish for long enough, the gitches, and eventually a warb just like showed up on the floor, and I was like, oh great, let's rask it. So maybe that'll happen again sometime. But we need to be careful zanking stuff because it just smibs into the brangy. To zank is to like destroy or to hit or something. Zanking is violent. But, I mean, it's not just destroy, because the gitches are zanking warbs, and the ones that the gitches zank just show up on the floor, and I can pick them up. I can rask them. So, that isn't entirely what zanking is. It doesn't just destroy things, but I should be careful with it. You know what I haven't tried? I haven't tried dirching the stuff in my inventory. So what if I dirched my Palgic Darf? Yeah, nothing. What's my other Darf? The Tarsh. Dang it. The Tarshen one specifically. A warb. Yeah, so to goam is to enter. It must be, because a warb has just exited the water. Right? Okay, so there's a supply of orbs in the area. Do I have that goam defined clearly? I have it as visit. I guess I can say that's sort of plausible, so I won't delete it. But now I think it's more like enter. Okay. And a naft is like a group, I guess. We may as well write that in. Right? Yeah, naft. Or a herd, maybe, is better. Because I know it can apply to gitches. I don't know if you can have a naft of, well, you know, like Gostaks, for example. So what if I were to dirch my shamtag? It floams! Huh. The naft of gitches are volded by the floming and pel div. They go place? Yeah, I still don't quite understand div, I guess. I thought a div was a place, but... Huh. So the shamtag is still leloed. There are still, I guess, gitches here. Yeah, look, they're tunking the brangy and stuff. But this is very interesting. So we gotta say, so the Gostak can specifically dirch. I mean, it seems like you can dirch anything, but usually nothing heemy happens. But in particular, you can dirch a shamtag. And A shamtag is able to vold. No. It can flom. And when it floams, like, it volds gitches. So I guess we can say in a way that a floming can vold a gitch. Sure. And do I know anything about vold? I don't think I do. Here, let's see. All I know is you can vold a gitch, which I just learned. Okay, well that's exciting stuff. Any chance this guy... No, he doesn't want to talk about Kren. That's an adjective. You got to talk to him about nouns. Okay. So it seems like we got to go find the Cobics. They're somehow associated with the Cobic glod. Now, wait a minute. He talked about using Poscat on Cobic glods and remarked that they usually just snip into the brangy, right? Before they can ripen, or whatever the word for ripen was. And he says skirm. Didn't he talk about... He talked about skirm also. I wish I could read my whole backlog. Well, I guess I haven't closed or opened... I haven't reopened the window, so actually I can scroll back as far as the last time I looked at the manual, I guess. This. He said this is skirm. I haven't tried scobing anything. That's pretty cool. So the Gostak can scobe something. Not genth, but maybe other things. And we also know that at least... yeah, we know Panks can milk things, but why can't... Maybe I can. Maybe I can do that too. It's a verb. We might as well try it, right? Where am I? I'm in the Delcot. So, can I... I was told that to Pank... No, Pank was the animal. He milked the genth, right? So what if I milk the glod of genth? Oh, it's too tavid. Sorry, I should have known. Okay. What if I were to... I've already forgotten the other thing he said he did to it. Scob it. What if I scobbed it? That's not a date? What do you mean? Oh, and there's also this. These Panks seem very powerful creatures. I think Maltagenth. Maltagenth with its Goves. So I can't Malk the Genth Glod because I don't have Goves. But if I did, it would pop right out. So Mavris is some negative thing, right? Yeah, we see lots of Pilters. They're almost as annoying, something like that, as Panks. Why do I say negative? This could be positive. It could be anything. But then he says, but you can't ton Gropples without Pilters. So, like, this is a positive thing about Pilters, being contrasted with their Mavrosity, right? So... let's say Mavris is something negative. But okay, Bolt Up. That's another thing I can do. Or anyway, a Pank can do. And in particular, I could Bolt Up the Calbus off something. Which is interesting, because doesn't the Cobic Glod have Calbus on it? Oh, I'm already there, right. So what are my new verbs? Scob, I think I just tried, right? Yeah, there it is. But I can Bolt Up things as well, maybe. Probably not this one. Can't Bolt Up that. But maybe the Cobic Glod could be Bolt Upped? The Calbus smibs into the Brangy. The Glod is still Crend. So that's interesting. We have made progress on the Cobic Glod. So Glod of Foals of the Cobics is a skirm thing. This one is Durly Crend, but without a Calbus, but still motched with Posket. Motched is covered, we know that. Or teaming or something. So I assume I still can't take it. On account of all the Posket. That's stuck. That's a word we found before. Or that we think we translated. Do I have that in my definitions? I do. Okay. But what were the other powers this Pank had? We talked about Panks. Panks can Bolt Up the Calbus off alone. I just did that. Okay. Genth can't be Durch's Anchor Scobbed. But a Pank It malked the genth. I can't do that because I don't have goves. I assume I can't just zank Kabik Glod? No, it's not Poltiv. Yeah. Okay. Well. And I can't just dirch it. Nothing will happen, right? It dirches you back. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So they talked about Posket way back. It was to do with the comics, right? I could go ask him again. It might be faster than all this scrolling. Yeah, these comics aren't staying with their glods. Most comics stash their glods with Posket. Because of the Posket, they smib into the brandy when you dirge them. But you can't dirge them until they're Blide. Okay. So, right. I want this glod to smib into the branchy. And it's no longer got whatever that other covering was. I bosketed it away or whatever. But it'll smib right into the branchy if I dirch it. But I can't do that until it's Blide. So I have to figure out how to make a Kabik gland become Blide. Because this guy says it never happens. Interesting. Well, I mean, any chance you could just tell me about being Blide? No, he doesn't. He doesn't talk about agriculture. All right. I think... I mean, I'm sure there's more this guy could tell me. But I've learned a lot. I've done a lot of things, and I want to go see if there's more to explore. So let's see. Where can I go? He's talking to himself by the Hofflat. So it seems like we can go... Yeah, there's a Gomway to the... Well... There's a Gomway Loft. He's by the Hofflut, but I can't go Hoff. So Lut is not like... It's not... I don't know. Not every direction that's mentioned is a direction you can go in. So maybe he's just by the Hoff wall, like he's over there on the Hoff Lut of the area, but... I mean, right here it says what it can pel at, so it makes sense that they can't pel Hoff, but... Okay, fine. So... I mean, if I go... The thing is, if I go back Loft, I think I exhausted all the routes on this Gomway, didn't I? There's all these gropples. Like, can I zank a grapple, maybe? Probably not, because I'm not a pank. Or of course, it's not Poltiv, silly me. I already tried rassing them, but they were Shoracle. I haven't looked at the Gomway, but I think it'll just tell me about the area I'm in, yeah. And the Fosk, I mean, that's just like the floor, right? I don't think I have that entered. I may as well. Let me just check, though. Definition there. I don't. All right. So, fine. I know you can't see this. Nothing interesting is happening. Don't worry about it. The Fosk is the floor. You know, who knows? Maybe we're actually some sort of creature that's always suspended from the ceiling with tentacles and walking that way, and they're on the ceiling, but... You know, that detail doesn't matter. I may as well think of it as the floor. All right, let's head over to the loft again. So yeah, this Pilter is Leland Gropples. I can't just Leland Grapple, right? Because I'm not a Pilter. Ha! Okay. I thought he was taking my Palgic Darf. He's just looking at it. What if I were to Durch my Shamtag again? That got a reaction from the Gitches. The Pilter is volted. It ran away. It went Jyloff. So the Stike is just, yeah, it's across the Gomway. It doesn't care for being dirched, but it's not expressly hateful of it. Can I Zank it? It's not bolted, of course. So other things I learned recently that I can do. I have Zank in there twice. Oh, yeah, because I learned multiple things that can Zank. So can I Scob the Stike? No, Scob is not a verb. Can't bolt up that. Well, but Scob is a verb. It was just something some animal could do, and I can't necessarily. Right? Oops. No, for some reason I wrote that it's something I should be able to do. I think maybe the guy said, like, oh, the thing about so-and-sos is you can't Scob them or something of them, something else to them. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to try, actually. The Darf Thunder. We played with this before. And it has all these, like, it has these 3 coins you can play with, and I don't really know what the various settings on them are. But it has a Chender that's rasking a Darf, so it's like a bag of some kind, right? And I have this hypothesis that a Lelloed bag is closed. Maybe not. But, like, what if I try Lelloing the Chender? You can't Lello that. My Shamtag is already Lelloed. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know yet what I can Lello. Presumably not the Drogue. Alright, alright. But when I was standing here and I scared the Pilter, it didn't go Jerf. It went Jyloff, didn't it? Yeah. Can I Lello the Pilter? No. Not a surprise. I don't imagine I can Zank it either. It sees my attack. It notices my attack, and it ran away. It went kerf. That's fine. I'll go kerf as well, I think. Well, that'll probably take me back to where I don't know, it's strange. Like, I got here by going Hoff. So Loft should take me back. Yeah, I don't know. I've somehow gotten turned around. So somehow I've made my way back all the way to the Delcott. Right, I go Kyloff, but then just Jerf of me is the Delcott. Like, the directions are not symmetrical. This is a thing that has bugged me in this game. It's understandable in some sense, but it, like, is not easy to navigate. I had the same experience in the Dreamhold. The world was not arranged in a perfect grid. You could go north from somewhere, and the path you were following would curve around to the west, so that, like, to leave and go back, you had to go southeast. But it would say that in the room. Here, it's like, oh yeah, it's going kerf, but you actually got to go Kyloff. I don't know. Yeah, so I feel like the whole universe is really small. Like, I can go from the Delcott all the way to the Samalan, and that's pretty much it. Like, there's kind of a horseshoe shape, in a way. You know, with the curve on the top and the ends on the bottom. With the Delcott at the bottom right. And then west of that is, I guess, the Hogum. Excuse me, the Hoff of that is the is the Hogum. And further off is the Samalan, where we've been doching at the Droke. And to get between those, you can't go through the Hogum, so you gotta go kerf up to the Gomway. But the Gomway doesn't really lead anywhere except those two places. So how do I go somewhere else? It's possible this is the whole universe, right, of this game. And that everything I need to do to the Glods, I can do with the tools at my disposal here. And I just have to understand them better. But I don't know how to do it or what more to investigate exactly. I wonder if I should have taken another kind of note about, like, loose ends to follow up on so that I could have those to refer back to at this point. Like, I want a grapple. They're all over the place. They seem important, right? Not only are they in the description, they're inaccessible to me, and there's verbs I can do to them, but only if I could pick them up first, which I can't. But there are animals who are constantly picking them up to let me know it's possible. And the Droke tells me all about how the Pilter is like, yeah, the only way to get Gropples is with Pilters, right? I mean, looking at my Palgic Dart. Do you want that? Pob is a thing I haven't used really at all, right? So I have 4 entries in my... Sorry, 3 entries in my dictionary for pob, which I think means like put or give. And I remember the very first page of the tutorial that I read about basic verbs goes on and on about how there's this example of you could rask a chold, and then if you wanted, you could pob it to a tendo or whatever. Pob it at a tendo, I think. And so it's like it's place or give or put. I don't really know, like, so I suspect that what's around me is not the whole universe. There must be another place I can get to, because there's all these verbs that were in the manual and nouns that I haven't encountered at all. Nouns, at least, right? Like, I've never seen a chold or a tendo. The fact that tendos start out garmy and become less garmy if you pop them a chold has not had any relevance in my life yet. So I don't think it would be in the manual if you didn't have to do it. But here's a spot where maybe I could pob something. What if I were to pob my Palgic Darf at Pilter? Like, here, you keep looking at it. Here you go. He lealed it. Okay, well, I mean, you want the other one? I don't know anything to do with these besides give them to you, so... And I can always get them back, I think. He's just eating stuff. Maybe he'll notice my plight that I can't get any gropples, and he'll get one for me now that we're friends? No. Like, it says he's tunking the Dilof but there's nothing there. So it's not quite U-shaped. Yeah, okay. But it is somehow, because, like, okay, how did I get here, right? I went north, west, and I failed to go west. Then I went north again. Northwest, north. And then west twice. And that led me to the Samelin. But it turns out from here, I can also just go Jailof once. And find myself back at the Delcot. And from there, I can go Kai off if I want and get to Samelin in just one step. Right? So this distance is not conserved here. It's not like I walked in a circle. I walked in a line of several steps heading only north and west. And then a single step to the southeast, it turns out, is the same distance. And I can take a single step directly northwest and just get there. So the distances are not uniform between locations. What? Darf Tunder. It tons Darfs, of course. There's a Palgic one. I forget what the other kind we had was. Tarshan or something that we eventually got. So obviously we can play with the we can write the coids in different ways. Maybe I want them all gemly. It doesn't seem to care. And this word statched. Didn't he use the word statched? when talking about Cobbix and how they statch their glods or something? They tunned the Panks. Oh, not the Cobbix glod, but the Cobbix themselves. They're in the Doral, whatever that is. And they tunned, I have this as like create, I believe, the Panks. And if I look at the Cobbix glod, oh, they're not stamming their glods. Why are they statched? Yes, statched their glods with Posket. So this statched Coid is statched, but with what? I don't know. I put tunned in as create most recently, I think. Yeah, put, give, or create. I think put is probably not right anymore. But, like, now I'm here. And all I can do is go back the way I came, either all the way back to Delcot immediately, or back along the Gom way, which only leads to Delcot. Yeah. The Cobbix. Deve at the Doral. Well, I mean, I may as well put into that the Cobbix tunned Panks. Probably it's singular, right? You know, a Cobbix could tund a Pank, but in general, the Cobbix do tund Panks. Well, If I durch my shamtag, my what is it again? Shamtag. Huh. We haven't gotten a reaction out of the Droke before, besides doching at him. Now he's tunking at me Garmy, which we thought was sort of analogous to Hungry. I don't think he suddenly wants to eat me, like I'm the Gostak. But what do you mean he tunks me, Garmy? Like, warily? I don't know. But it doesn't say Garmily, it says Garmy. I don't know. I've already dirged the glod, right? Yeah. Okay, well, back to the Gomway here. I'm sort of lost. Not Delch Dirch. They don't care. And the Pilter isn't a fan. Just trying out some directions that I can't go. He's Volded. And he ran Jylov. I can chase him. So, like, I haven't figured out what to do with this Stike, right? That's an object in the area that I haven't really seen anybody reference at all. I don't know what you can do with a Stike. There's a Stike across the Gomway. Who knows? Is this taking me to places? It seems to be. This is doing something. Like, it's moving me in some way I don't understand. Like, right now, I'm directly kerf of the Delcot. When I Pel, I'm still on the Gomway. I can go Hoff or Jerf. It seems like, how could I have gotten there from here? But then when I do this, I'm back where the Delcot is just Jerf of me. What if I were to Lail a Darf? You can do that. I can just Lail a Palgic Darf if I want. And it's gone now. I have eaten it or something like that. Pilter, Lail a Grobble. Yeah. So Distunk has got to be Ignore. We had ideas that it might be Forget or something. Actually, it could be Forget. I remembered that, like, the manual said, yes, you can give commands to other things in this syntax. Nothing important in this game will happen if you do that, but, like, it didn't say nothing will happen. So I thought maybe you would listen to me and Lail a Grapple. What if I popped my Glod at the Stike? It crens itself into the Stike. It's crenned in the Stike, so I can get it back if I want. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know why, but when I'm visualizing these Glods, they're like big nuts, like a wall, way bigger than like a walnut or something, the size of like a hand almost. But they look like nuts to me. But it seems to have agency because it crens itself. So that sort of jolted me a bit out of my imaginings. I don't know what to do. I mean, we know the Darftunder here has these 3 coids. There are only 8 states it could be in. We could try all of them and see if one of them is interesting somehow. Yeah, it's just a jetty-pated Darftunder. So, okay, let's just pretend Gemly is 0 and Gemly is and the other one, which I've forgotten, Bombly, is 1, and we'll just count up to 7 here. Reich, stashed, coid. I think this state I've already tried, but whatever. Oh, there's a different method for counting, actually. So if I'm imagining this is a binary number, right? With this being the lowest digit, and I was going to toggle it on to count to 1, then toggle it back off and toggle the next one up to count to 2, and so on. But that's going to involve a lot of toggles. There's a thing called gray coding, which is a different way of assigning binary codes to numbers that you only have to flip one number at a time to count, I believe. So how does that work? Two successive values differ in only 1 bit. Good. So there's just a list here of the first 15 or 16 gray-coded numbers. So I should be able to examine the first 8 of them by just toggling one thing at a time. So let's do that. Reich, stashed, coid, Bombly, please. Doesn't seem to care, yeah. Now to count to 2, we need to Reich the second digit, the Clarby one, Bombly. And now if I go back to the first digit and make it Gemly, we're on 3 here. And now the obvious only state left is to mess with the first one, the highest significant digit. The Rimnicoid gotta be Bombly as well now. Yeah. And then I guess we just do the same basic thing on the lower ones. Let me just have a look at it real quick. So I'm at 110. Yes, correct. I want to toggle the bottom one now. The stashed coid must be Bombly. So they're now all Bombly, which is all 1s, and that's 5. So if I now toggle the middle one, which is Clarby, and make it Gemly. Great. And then the last one, to get to 7, the final arrangement of 3 bits, I just need to toggle the least significant one, the stashed one, and make it Gemly as well. Yeah, I mean, unsurprisingly, going through all the states on the Darftunder with no idea what to do with, no way to test whether I found the right state, unless it says, congratulations, you found the right state. I've gone through all the states, none of them said congratulations, so the actions I have with the Darftunder are sort of exhausted in terms of Reiching its coids anyway. Are exhausted. I don't know. I might have to ask for a hint at the start of the next session because, or a brolge, excuse me. Because I don't know what else I can do to anything. I've dirged a bunch of things. I've there's clearly more things in the universe, but I can just walk along a gomway that connects two tiny little places, and I can't go anywhere else from there. So I'll probably ask for him to start it tomorrow, but we'll be done for now today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.